Should you consider ringless voicemail, or are you going to be putting yourself into legal trouble or going to get sued? That's the question that I'm trying to answer today. Now, I've got a couple of really interesting things that I've looked at over the last couple of days. I want to show them to you, and I want to know what you think. Now, I thought about initially making this video real nice and fancy with all these graphics coming in from the sides and everything else, and then the perfectionist in me just got stuck, and I'm trying to get over that, which you should also get over that. So what I decided to do is instead is just here with my laptop, just show you what I'm looking at, and instead of fancy graphics, it's just going to be you and I talking to each other, just like this. So I have 4 or 5 articles that I'm going to walk you through here on this video. I will put these videos in the description. Now, before I get started, there is one very critical and important thing that you have to consider as you're watching this video. And that's that you want to make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and give me the notification bell. Okay, gotcha. All right, here we go. So here is the first article. Robocaller Will really wants to buy your house in Philly. Here's what happened when we called them. So this was a very interesting article because if you scroll through this article, there's a couple notable things here that I found. This was pretty funny, actually. For months, Will has been badgering Philadelphia with recorded messages, offering to buy properties in city and New Jersey and ask homeowners to call back if they are interested, promising an offer in just 7 minutes over the phone. He's very casual about it. Acknowledging how random this call is. This is funny. Will calls me 3 times a day. It's constant. It's ridiculous. And I know that my apartment is sought after. And you know what they have here? They have the actual message from Will. And if I...
name's Will, and I'm actually just leaving you this quick voicemail because...
So I don't know who Will is, but you can look and check to see who Will is. So anyway, this person decided to call Will and see what's up. He dialed the number, he left voicemail messages, spoke to evasive investors who gave inconsistent answers, and unearthed a larger robocall operation that targeted major cities across the nation. I love this. It says, Will is so busy leaving messages all over town that he never answers the phone when you call him back. They claim to be investors from the home buyers network who quickly buy properties in cash. We're not the only ones trying to find Will. The Pennsylvania Attorney General's office is also looking for him. Now, this is interesting. We listen to more than a dozen Will messages, and it's not always the same voice leaving them. And there's a guy here that's interesting that says that they are this is the thing I want you to pay attention to, a robocall fighting firm. A robocall fighting firm. So what's the big idea from this article? The big idea from this article is that there is a lot of heat. There is a lot of heat right now, and it's coming. So you have to be careful. What happened, like any other thing that happens in our niche or industry, someone uses it, they get good results, they start sharing it, it goes crazy. Next thing you know, everybody's doing it, and then it gets out of hand. It gets bastardized. And that's what's happening here. And you've got, what I assume to be, I don't know who these guys are, pretty big operations, sending all these messages, and you're starting to tick people off. You're starting to get the attention of the Attorney General. And I don't know about you, but I don't like to use a strategy where I have to think about the Attorney General. I don't like to use a strategy where maybe I need to consult an attorney before I implement that strategy. Maybe I need to set up a different shell corporation or something like that to insulate me from anything that might happen with that strategy. Those are all the things that I start to think about if I was going to consider doing these type of calls, ringless voicemail, as you call them. However, I can't do that. You know why I can't even consider it? Because in Florida, I can't. I'll get into a lot of trouble. Let me show you. So here is another article. Florida delivers message to telemarketers. No unsolicited ringless voicemail starting July 1st. So this happened last year. So now if Florida banned it, what do you think is going to happen with the other states? Little by little, they're going to ban it. Now, do you want to get caught up in the crossfires of that? Or do you want to get caught up in a situation where your business is dependent on a particular strategy? You take a bunch of time, energy, and effort in making that strategy work, only for that strategy to then be completely knocked off of its legs, and now it's no longer valid. So I don't think that's a good business decision. And as an example, you guys know I'm heavy on Facebook ads, but let's just take direct mail as a strategy. It makes sense for you at some level, at some point, to learn direct mail, to learn how to use it, to be able to generate motivated sellers from that strategy. Why? Because it's always going to be around. So the time you spend today on that strategy is time that is going to be well spent, because it's going to be forever. Tactics change, yes. The what we send out change, the list change, but fundamentally it's the same. So I've been doing direct mail since 2003-ish or something like that. And in the end, yes, the tools are different, but at the end, the mail is the mail. The mailman comes to my house every day with a big stack of stuff to bring me. And it's definitely a strategy that you can focus on and know that it's going to be around for a while, unlike this. So just to recap, you've got one problem here, which is a government agency. And you never want to get in trouble with a government agency. Do you know why? I've never been in trouble with a government agency, but keep this in mind. A government agency has a lot of money, unlike a civil lawsuit, right? Where you're going to sue me, and so do I have the money to withstand the lawsuit? Maybe I have better attorneys, and then if you sue me, I'm going to sue you back, and then now you're going to end up folding because I got more money than you. At the end of the day, if the state is going after you, guess what? They got more money than you or anybody else. Why? Because they have an unlimited bucket of money. So they're going to just do whatever they need to do to make sure that you are an example for them. So that's the thing to be mindful of. So now let's talk about, though, threat number 2 is civil litigation. Because in our free enterprise, in the wonderful world of capitalism that we have, is that there's always opportunities. And so there is an opportunity for an individual that, like me, if I'm getting all these robocalls, hey, maybe I can sue people and make money from it. If I'm an attorney, hey, maybe I can set up a law firm, capture all these people, and I can sue them and make also money, do a class action suit. And that's the other problem that you have. Here's what I think is the next best opportunity. Instead of Shopify, you could be a Robocall Avenger. This guy, Andrew, 21 years old, all he does for cash is to sue robocallers. And I'll leave this link here in the description. But basically, a young kid decided, hey, you know what? I can make some money, suing people. And this is interesting. This is the number of Telephone Consumer Protection Act's lawsuit filed in federal court. Look at the date range, 2009 to 2017. Look at that graph. Oh my God. Look at that graph. That is scary. If I'm doing any sort of ringless voicemails, guess what? I am very, very concerned about that. And look at the rise in the robocalls. So now Will is the least of your problems. You know why Will is the least of your problems? Because he's an individual. Because if now you've got to contend with an attorney that has full capacity to run you around in circles with the law, what's going to happen? You're going to lose. I have a couple friends, I'm not going to say who they are, but I have a couple friends and people that I know that have been sued. And they had to settle because at the end of the day, they would have spent so much money fighting the lawsuit. And then when you look at the evidence here, and then the last article I'm going to show you is the one that really should have you concerned. In the end, they ended up settling. And some of them had some really complicated structures. They had a corporate structure set up so that, it was different from their house buying company. And then in the end, they just folded. And so is that the kind of thing you want to be dealing with? Yeah, just imagine you're trying to go out and find yourself a real estate deal, trying to get your first deal. And you start with this, and next thing you know, instead of getting a deal, you get a lawsuit. Now that would be not so nice, and would certainly put a little bit of a damper on your real estate investing career. However, again, despite all that, what is the thing that I'm most concerned about, that I would be most concerned about for you, is this. By the way, yes, in case you're wondering, this is a Windows PC. It looks like a Mac. I don't like Macs. Here we go, National Law Review. This here, look at the date on this. Look at the date on that, March 28, 2019. Second District Court in the nation holds that a ringless voicemail is a call under the TCPA. Now you can read the this particular lawsuit here, this particular case, not a lawsuit, but a case. And the question is whether or not a ringless voicemail is subject to the TCPA has been a topic, and it states the reasons why they consider them a call, and I'll tell you why this is important here. Now, this is important because the loophole in this thing was that, you know, this ringless voicemail isn't a call. So if I'm not allowed to send unsolicited, you know, voicemail calls and unsolicited calls to people or people on a do not call list, then I'm exempt from this law because of the fact that it's a ringless voicemail. It's not the same thing. It's not a call. So hey, it's not. I'm not avoiding the law here. But now there's case law. There's a ruling here that says that's a problem, and so that is the thing. I think, to me, that's the nail on the coffin. So look, at the end of the day, I feel pretty confident that this whole ringless voicemail is going to go away. The same thing as it's done in Florida, it's going to go away. However, you might say, well, gee, Chico, I'm going to write it out because until the law passes, I'm good, right? Florida passed the law. It was in the newspaper. And so once the law got passed, I had a couple months to, you know, get out of that situation. And now I'm good. No problems. Yes, potentially that you could be right. However, what you have to be careful with is the people in our free capitalist system who file lawsuits and file class action lawsuits, or individuals like that college student that I showed you that is making a living instead of Shopify or instead of real estate investing. He said, hey, I'm going to sue robocallers. Can't get the words out of my mouth. So that's the big problem. And so I think that you should spend your time on things that you know are going to be evergreen. Direct mail, evergreen. Facebook ads, evergreen. You could argue with Chico, I don't know how long Facebook ads are going to last. Look, online advertising is always going to be around. So let's put that under that bucket. Online advertising makes sense, right? Cold calling? You know, there's some gray area with cold calling. If you're using an auto dialer and calling people that are on the do not call list, you're kind of in a little bit of a gray area there, I think. However, if you get a list of really highly targeted people and you just use your phone and you call them up, you'll be okay. No problem there. You're just calling people individually, one by one. Now, look, I have to give you my official disclaimer about this whole video, which is in my attorney voice, is that Cris Chico is not a licensed attorney, and I in no way am giving you legal advice, and you should not follow my legal advice. You should consult an attorney who is licensed in your state and your jurisdiction in order to understand what you need to do. Okay, so if you get into any trouble, but here's the thing, even though I'll give you the disclaimer, you're not going to get into any trouble by my advice. I'm telling you to stay out of trouble. So how is that for a disclaimer? Okay? But that's my video for today. I want to know a couple things from you. I want to know is, number one, Chico, am I just being a fear monger? Am I completely off base? Are you doing ringless voicemail? If you are doing ringless voicemail, are you considering leaving ringless voicemail? After looking at the stuff I just showed you here, are you starting to think, you know what, maybe I should consider? Anyway, that's my video for today. So as remember, subscribe, and there's going to be a couple videos here, right by the microwave, they're not typically in the microwave, okay? They're like somewhere here. Take a look at my training on using Facebook ads to find motivated sellers, and maybe another one there. I'll see which one might be a good one for you, okay? I'll talk to you soon. Chico and out.